I also have a fake Gibson.
Is it a Trump Gibson?
No, God, no. God.
Let's take a spin.
Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Take a Spin. I'm your host, Rob Tate. I'm happy that you guys are back as always. Today we have a great episode of some not long lost friends, just not in my life for a while. It's Vinnie Paolizzi and Alex from the Go Around. And they are phenomenal dudes, good friends I haven't seen in a long time. So it's great to chat with these guys. And they both moved from the New Jersey, PA area down to Nashville around the same time. And they've been working their butts off down there. And Vinnie is actually bringing the band, the Go Around, up to Wayne, PA to play at 118 North. I mentioned 118 North a bunch. It just happens that I want to help these guys that are touring through town get some love for those shows. And we love 118 North here at RT Studios. I just want to say it was an honor to have these guys on the podcast. And you should definitely go see them on December the 27th at 118 North. It's going to be a good time. They're doing it trio style. It's going to be a lot of fun. But real quick, just want to plug Chill AF New Year's Eve is happening. We're halfway to sold out, and we couldn't be more excited. I just sent, here, this is secret time. I sent tunes to both Sophie Corin and Emmett Druding, who will be on the show doing their own sets, but they're going to be sitting in with me. And we're going to be doing some originals that you guys haven't heard before. So make sure that you get your tickets to Chill AF so you can check that out. And we're very excited about it. Genuinely, it's going to be so much fun. And this is the third annual. Tickets are down in the either in the YouTube description or the podcast notes. And we couldn't be more excited. Fat Lady Brewing Company always does a great job and a great service letting us come in there and chill every New Year's Eve. And we're really looking forward to it this year. But again, we have a great podcast. It's Vinnie and Alex. And I hope you guys enjoy our conversation.
Let's take a spin.
Alex and Vinnie, what's going on, guys?
Hey, Rob, what's up, buddy?
Man, it's been a long time.
Yeah, it looks like we've all got coffee. We're having our coffee together.
We all have places to go this afternoon. 'Tis the season, and we're all just we're going to get through this. But how are you boys doing? It has been a long time. God, we played a church together when I stepped for the Go Around.
Yeah, in 2019, I think.
19.
Yeah, that was I think that was the last time that we went home for a show. Because I was living in Nashville already at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Until next week.
Yeah, until next week. Yeah,
I'll mention it right up top.
Yeah, these guys are going to be at 118 North on December the 27th. Is that?
I'm forcing my favorite band from high school to get back together for kicking
Well, I was
and
wondering
screaming.
because the Go Around aren't your backing band anymore, Vinnie, are they?
No, they never officially were. We've just played so many things together and been in each other's world for so long. A part of your world.
Yeah, I mean, also it's kind of
There's the clip.
It's also kind of funny because we never could be the whole backing band because the Go Around was never officially it was always just my brother and I and everybody else, yourself included. We're hired guns or volunteers, so it was
hired guns or volunteers. I feel like that's the whole industry right now. It's just hired guns and volunteers.
100%.
Yeah, so the Go Around wouldn't be Vinnie's backing band unless Anthony and I were paying the rest of Vinnie's backing band.
Our backing band would have to have
Which he's not mad about. He's not mad about it at all.
Yeah.
He's like, sure, you can pay for that. It's fine.
Yeah, there'd have to be multiple layers of backing. Yeah.
Multiple layers of backing, yes. But so for this show, you guys are, the Go Around is performing and you're performing, Vinnie? Are you doing some sort of mashup or what's the deal?
Yeah, I mean, these guys have played in my band forever. They're going to open the show and then I'm just going to come up and we're going to play together. So it'll be what it's going to be.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and it's going to be it's like a hybrid thing. I would call it acoustic. I'll be playing electric guitar, but it's not going to be like drums and everything. It's going to be sort of a cool stripped down. And we're going to be doing a lot of kind of playing off of each other. So
that's great.
Yeah.
So is it a 3-piece or a 4-piece or
three-piece?
Three-piece. Okay.
Yeah,
So
3-piece.
So it's both of you, Alex and Anthony.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great, man. I love that so much. It's going to be a family affair.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's beautiful, man. Well, yeah, you guys have been in Nashville. God, how long have you been down there, guys?
This week, it'll be 7 years for me. And Alex drove the van down and helped me move in my first place.
I remember that
I think
van.
it was the 15th or the something of December.
That van's about 30 feet away.
Yeah.
You still have it?
Yeah.
No, the new one.
This is a different one. Yeah. But it's the same model, but 10 years newer.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank God, Alex. That thing.
Yeah.
That van had some life in it. But congrats to you both. You've both been working so hard down in Nashville. And I know that Alex has been doing a lot of sound for folks, doing a lot of mixing, especially with the SE sessions. By the way, I've been like totally bugging out on all of those. They sound amazing.
Ah, thanks, man. Yeah.
So what's the deal with that? Are you like in collaboration with SE? Are you working for them doing these acoustic sessions?
I was. I'm not anymore. The guy that I was connected to left SE.
Mhm.
But it's actually kind of, I got a good friendship out of it. That guy and I are buddies, and now when I'm on the road, I go see him in Colorado, and we have a good time out there. But yeah, no, I got a couple of cool mics out of it. Got a couple of great videos out of it. But yeah, no, it was just sort of a short term thing where I was basically trading them video for gear. Yeah,
I mean, I'm looking right at one of them.
yeah. There you go. Well, I got two of these, and they're fantastic. Honestly,
It's a great way to outfit a studio.
yeah.
Just do a bunch of work and get all the stuff you need.
Yeah, no, I mean, I essentially got enough microphones to, I already had, I've had a home studio for most of my life on some level, even though it's started very small,
Mhm.
But when I decided to like really do it up, the last couple of years, I really like built an actual studio. And the first thing that I realized is I have all the connectivity, I have big console, whatever, but I only have enough mics to record myself. So that was like that was sort of part of the deal was, they helped me build enough of a mic clocker to now like record a live band and things like that. So,
So you're calling everybody in Nashville like, can I please get work? Can you pay me in
Yeah.
gear?
well, that was just for a short period of time, but yeah.
No, I understand, but still, the premise of calling everybody is still funny in my mind.
Oh, dude, working for gear is kind of awesome though. I'm obviously working for money is fantastic too.
I've worked
But,
a lot less than gear.
But yeah,
Yeah.
no, even just some of my outboard gear, compressors and reverbs and stuff like that, I've gotten in exchange for recordings, so it's kind of great.
No, I love that. And I'm actually in the middle of working on my studio here. I'll show the audience, the fam. It's a mess down here, but got these and putting them
Yeah.
back there for a little drum room situation.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and just moved my little desk area over here and got a little snake, and things are good over here.
Very
Drum
cool.
What part
land
of
is-
town are you in, Rob?
It's West Philadelphia.
No, born and
So I-
raised.
I live right in between Drexel and UPenn, basically.
Oh, great. That's a great area.
Yeah, so lots of musicians out here, and there's a good community.
Yeah, what's the scene like now? I feel so. I mean, I play a show in Philly twice a year, or whatever, and I feel like so far away from the places we used to play. And like, what's it like now?
It's different for sure. A lot of the smaller venues have closed, so it's a lot of DIY right now. There are some venues that are still open. There's one place that I work with in particular called Fat Lady Brewing in Manayunk,
Okay,
which
cool.
we'd love to have you guys if you're ever tired of 118, which I wouldn't be because they do amazing sound and they're great people.
I'd love to play Maniac again though.
Yeah, we used to play.
Yeah,
Manny
we used to
every
play
week.
Dawson Street Pub all the time, and the Goat's Beard and R.I.P. Bourbon Blue.
I was there every weekend for like 5 years.
Yeah,
Well, we'd love to have you back.
That'd be
So,
great.
yeah.
Well-
The grape room's gone, right?
The Grape Room is gone, but they will be opening up again in the new year, from what I understand.
Oh wow,
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Okay.
different ownership, but Fat Lady is literally around the corner, and it holds about 120 people upstairs.
great.
And it's a standing room thing. It's great. We really love
Yeah.
it up there. In fact,
Yeah.
let me do a quick plug for myself.
Yeah,
love it. Love
Chill
it.
AF New Year's Eve is happening in 2 weeks, and this is our third consecutive year of doing a New Year's Eve show where it's just live music. So
Oh, that's great.
we're
Awesome.
super stoked for that.
Hey, speaking of plugging yourself, I love your new record, by the way.
And thank you for picking one up, man.
Yeah,
It was
dude,
an
of
honor to
course.
send one to you.
Hell yeah.
That's amazing. Do you have a vinyl player?
Yeah. I've got quite a little setup actually.
Yeah,
'cause
He's got a really good setup.
Oh, you'll have to send me a photo, man, because I'm
I
trying
will,
to get
yeah.
some inspo because I don't have a lot of room down here. I'm trying to figure out where the heck I'm going to put everything.
Oh yeah.
That's beautiful. Well, here, Vinny, I just want to say congrats
Yeah.
on your brand new single that you just put
Oh,
out.
thanks, man.
The
Yeah.
Christmas tune. What is it called again?
Thanks. It was called the North Pole.
You did a great job on it, man.
Thanks,
and
man.
I really love the sincerity in it. Like, you could tell, like, no, he's not phoning it in. This isn't some artist,
Oh
like,
man, yeah.
trying to get views.
It's funny
No,
because
he truly loves Santa.
I truly love it. No, we wrote the song and I liked the song, and then during that recording session, it was like February, which is not the happiest, most wonderful time of the year. So we had to kind of, manufacture the feelings of sincerity, but I'm glad it came across.
It definitely did. It makes me think about every Christmas album that comes out is usually done the Christmas before, like recorded
Yeah,
like a whole year
100%.
in advance.
Yeah.
Just
We're
so
in the
like,
middle of the summer. Yeah.
Yeah.
well, hey, if you make a really good one, you're trying to rush it out. I get it. 100%. 100%. But you guys have done a great job. I was going to ask who portrayed Santa at the end of the track.
Yeah. So Mike Harris, who's produced my last two records, and he's got a big black beard, but he could still pull off a pretty good,
Young Santa Claus.
yeah, kind of like a young, vibrant Santa Claus.
It was what we need right now.
He'd probably want me to say it that way.
A young, vibrant Santa Claus.
It is funny though. My dad asked me, he's like, "Did you pay somebody to be Santa?" I was like, "No, we didn't pay somebody to be Santa. We just found the person that looked the most like Santa and made them pretend to be Santa for a couple minutes." But yeah.
Yeah, it's a
We had a
fun
good
thing to
time
put
with it.
on the Discogs.
Yeah, yeah. I think Christmas music is cool. I just wrote another Christmas song. I just like, it's not something that I sit down and I'm like, I need 5 Christmas songs this year, whatever. Like it's fun to kind of step out of like trying to, if you're writing 100 songs a year, if you do 1 or 2 Christmas songs, like, kind of step out of yourself.
In 6 years, he wants to be able to do a full-length live Christmas album.
That would be sick. And I feel like people want to hear covers, so you could do like Dominic the Italian Christmas Donkey.
There needs to
And
be
you
a
could do-
recording of that. A new recording of that. For
100%.
sure.
100%.
Although everyone's a little afraid of it, just PC things aside.
Vinny's Italian. He's allowed.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
You're
am I not
allowed. Nope.
Am I not allowed?
I'm definitely not allowed.
There's very few things that being Italian gets you. I feel like that could be one of them.
Making fun of Italian.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's only, but
I play this thing every year. It's called the Christmas trolleys with this company, and you're sitting in the front in a real trolley. It's decked out in Christmas stuff, but you're playing Christmas tunes. And I swear, every single trolley within 10 minutes is like, play Dominic the Donkey. So I've played Dominic the Donkey at least 50 times in the past 2 years.
That's awesome.
That's a song that I forget exists until it
Oh,
gets
that's the best.
mentioned.
Yeah.
My favorite thing, though, is when you see people that have never heard of the song, and they're just sitting there going,
Yeah.
for
Yeah, well-
4 minutes,
Somebody who didn't want to write a Christmas song, wrote that song.
and then do it back to back with Adam Sandler's Hanukkah song,
There you go.
which some people haven't heard in a while.
100%.
But I was gonna say, I mean, if David Foster did call to do that Christmas record, you would do it.
100%. Yeah. I like Christmas. I like Christmas music. We listened to Christmas music all last night. We did Presents with our baby last night and listened to. There's honestly some great chord changes in Christmas music. There's some great like classic things where they pull from other ones. It's like its own culture. You know what I mean? It's cool.
100%. And then like I feel like guitar players and piano players specifically kind of get roped into learning about diminished chords again as soon as Christmas rolls around.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, I used to have an office here at RCA Studios in Nashville, and obviously a million records have been made there. But one of the most famous songs that's ever been recorded there is Jingle Bell Rock. So
really,
like our office that Alex was at a million times too, it was 20 feet from where that recording happened. And you think of how many billions of times people have listened to that song. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of cool.
and you're right by the room. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, RCA, is that the room that was owned by Ben Folds, or am I mixing up my studios?
I don't know if he owned it. He might have just been or
the proprietor, I guess.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, and we would get mail that was to Ben Folds sometimes. So we had a tiny little office. Me and Ben Chapman, and Channing Wilson and Rob Snyder shared this little office. But yeah, Dave Cobb is the guy now. So all the Stapleton stuff, Sturgill stuff, Blackberry Smoke, pretty much every band in that Warner Dave Cobb world uses that place. It's amazing, really is.
Have you guys run into any of those folks?
I passed Stapleton in the hallway a couple times. We did not high five or anything, but
I thought it was just automatically assumed you high five Chris Stapleton when you walk by him in the
He asked me for my autograph.
I said hi to Isbell once or twice when he was doing whatever the one after the Nashville Sound one. I think it was the Nashville Sound or the one after that. I can't remember. It was
Is
kind
that
of
the
in that
400
time
unit
period.
one that was
the
something about
white
vampires?
Yes, yeah.
Can't remember the name of it, but I know the record you're talking about.
I think it's called the Nashville Sound.
Pardon the noise. My cat's playing with toys in the background.
My audience will be just fine with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes you'll hear my dog Layla come down the stairs, and it's very audible. So thump, thump, thump. But here she comes. Alex says you have your own studio. And Vinny, you're not in RCA anymore. So where are you based out of now?
We've done a bunch of stuff in I've done a bunch of stuff in Alex's studio. We also there's a studio kind of close to my house called Heartland that we've done a bunch of stuff. A lot of the photos you see of me doing studio stuff is from there.
Yeah, fun room.
Yeah, the band Old Crow Medicine Show, if you've heard of them, they own and kind of run that. So I don't,
Yeah, there's like crows painted on the walls. It's a really cool room. All their Grammys are in there too.
Yeah, they have an amazing vinyl collection too.
Big old Neve.
Yeah,
I think he said that Neve was because it's a broadcast console that I think he said came off of an old truck that belonged to the NFL. So
I forgot.
So like a bunch of like TV, old, like 1990s TV football games were ran through that console, which I think is really funny.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah, now we're making records on it.
Yeah. And Alex has been in all those sessions too, and mixed a bunch of stuff. And it's not one of those things where you can't go wrong in Nashville. There are studios that are cooler, better than others, but so many people are so talented, and they all know their boards. I mean, that like their systems and their. I know nothing about recording, obviously.
That's not true, or else you wouldn't have been as successful as you are. So
thanks, but I kind of like stepping into somebody else's world and being like, these are the songs. I almost want to like run them through your world and see what happens. I feel like when I'm picking people to work with, that's almost like where my mind's at. And sometimes you come out and like, this was not it, and you have to redo stuff.
Has that happened often?
There's been things along the way. There's some mixes I've gotten back that have not been it. There's some mastering stuff that was definitely not it. There was, just stuff that happens. Overall, if you vibe with a person on a personal level, you usually come out with something good. I collaborate a lot. I do a ton of co-writing. So a lot of the people I work with are people that I've written multiple songs with. So it definitely, there's some stuff that doesn't work out. There's sometimes you write a song with somebody and they're like, I'm going to go record this. And you're like, yes, that's great. And then you hear it back and you're like, that is not what I would have done.
That's true. It's out of your control. The moment you write it and steps out of the room, it's like, that's no longer mine.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, like, I feel like, Rob Thomas kind of famously said something like that, where like he never wanted to be the front man of a band, but every time he wrote a song, he couldn't picture anyone else singing it. And
wow.
And that's like that's kind of one of those things. Like I definitely suffer from that too, where it's like kind of that. Like I haven't had as many cuts as Vinnie. I don't do as much co-writing as Vinnie, but the few times that I have and somebody else has cut it, like it's almost always a little bit like not that you don't like it, but it's just like, as especially being in Nashville where, sort of the low key thing is really popular. And I've always been a little bit more into, I've always been a little more grungy at heart, a little louder, a little more, you know what I mean? Whatever. So it's kind of like a funny thing where, it's funny to hear other people do stuff and go like, that's not at all what I pictured when I wrote that.
Yeah.
Well, do you guys find that like your past kind of separates you guys down there in the sense of like you're so East Coast, and then when you're around these Nashville folks, it's like, well, this isn't how I would do it, or this isn't how I run my business? Does that kind of come into play?
You want to take that?
In a business way, no. But in a just the whole like speed and attitude down here, I think it's different. And if I'm being honest, it's not my favorite thing. But it's not. It's just cultural. So like you do get used to it. But there's like a bluntness to the Northeast that I think a lot of the country mistakes for rudeness or something like that.
You mean being an asshole?
Yeah, but I don't think that that's really true. To be honest, I would even say arguably that I have a larger number of positive interactions in Philly than I do down here, mostly based on just the fact that like you never are wondering what people want. I mean, we both have had countless instances here of, somebody, oh, I love your thing, let's write together, or here's my number, let's get to, or like I'm a publisher or I'm friends with publishers, let's get together. And then they give you their number, then you hit them up, they never respond. They give you your email, you hit them up, they never respond. Whereas like up north, like one time I remember I saw a guy play a show, thought he was really great. I'm still friends with this guy to this day. Thought he was really great, and I said to him, man, like, your stuff is so great, like you should come over, we should jam. And he just goes, I don't really jam, and that was it. And it's just like, but like the funny thing is, it's like I never went home with any hope that I was gonna jam with this guy, or I never like messaged him trying to make it happen, wondering why it wouldn't work. There was never any like back and forth trying to schedule stuff, and I didn't get ghosted. It was never that. It's just right out the gate, just that's not what I want to do, period. Yeah. And like to me, that's so nice, because I can't tell you how much time both of us have spent chasing people in circles. And occasionally you end up having one awkward meeting with that person, but more often than not, it never happens at all. And like I would just so much rather be told no than waste my time.
1,000%.
And I think culturally, it's like, I think it's mistaken as Southern hospitality, but I think culturally, it's just like, you can't tell someone no to their face down here. It's very weird.
Do you feel like you're going to get shunned if you do?
I don't think shunned, but like, you know, in the same way that I was just saying, I feel like it's a mistake that people like think that like New York and Philly and Baltimore like that they're assholes. I really don't think so. I think people just say what they want, and a lot of people can't handle that.
No.
But that all being said, you know, this isn't a shit on Nashville thing. I bought a house here because I'm very happy here. It's a great, you know, it's a great place to be. The music community is amazing. People are really supportive of each other, you know, by and large. You know, I'm very happy that I'm here. I love the Philly music scene to an extent. I miss it. It was very good to us. You know, we got to play a lot of really good shows, a lot of really big shows, and it's a completely different thing here. You know, the reception to a band like mine is very different. You know, and the reception to a band like Vinnie's is very different. In your case, I think much better. You know, but the community is amazing, and it's really nice being in a place where I think the culture accepts music as a legitimate career. It's so funny, like, you know, I never back home for 20 years, like never, if I told somebody that I played music for a living or that I wanted to, never did they just accept it. It was always like, oh, but like, what's your real job? Or, oh, but like, what do you do on the side? Or like, oh, but how do you pay your bills? And it's like, no, this is what I do for a living. And like, people like don't, like, it's like, to them, it's like, that doesn't happen. You're either famous or you're not making a living in music. And it's just like, and here it's just like, literally everybody. That's just what, you know, my next door neighbor is a professional guitar player. My neighbor down the street's a professional guitar player.
Yeah.
You know, that two of my other neighbors are touring techs. It's like, you know, and we're all doing it for a living, and it's not a weird, I mean, Anthony is a full-time piano player, you know.
Mhm.
It's like, so all of us are doing it for a living, and nobody, like, when you say that, nobody bats an eye. It's the same as saying you're a plumber, you know. So, and that I really appreciate here, and the ability to like to sort of nerd out on gear. Like I've got friends back home that are gearheads. You know, I'm sure you and I could have endless conversations about that stuff. I don't know if you remember Eli. He played with the Go Around for a while. You know, he builds guitars and stuff. That's awesome. But you know, it's few and far between. Whereas here, it's kind of just like, you know, I could talk about headphones for 2 hours with somebody, which is just really nice. So. That's the long way.
No, that was you crushed that. I was gonna be so much like meaner.
You're like East Coast out, man. Let it out.
Yeah.
No,
But no, I mean, you know, if I ever made $1 million, I would make sure I had a home in Philly too.
Yeah. I think there's things about both that are great, and you hit the nail so on the head with the bluntness, because when I first moved here, a few people thought that I was maybe like a little too direct, especially in songwriting. I would just be like, I don't like that. You know, especially co-writing, that's not really a collaborative sentence. You could be like, hey, it could be that, or maybe it's this. And I think that the culture here has kind of like mellowed me out a little bit, because I was pretty high strung. Still am a little bit uptight in general, but it definitely, Alex talking about the pace, everything is a little slower, but I think both of us have kind of held on to a lot of our roots. This record I'm making now, I feel like is the record I would have made when I was 16 if I had like real songs. And I think there's country elements to it, but it's got more of what I listened to when I was back, you know, in basements in Philly back in the days. I think there's elements of both that I try to hold on to. And, you know, both of us have bought houses here, and we're both very, I like this community. I like being back in Philly and playing shows. But I think, like Alex said, that when you say you're in music and people are just like, that's great. Even if they're not, here they seem to kind of get it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Which is it's a very refreshing, I guess, from how we grew up.
100%. Now,
Yeah.
you said that this is the record you would make when you were 16. What does that kind of mean? Like, who's the influence that you're
Yeah,
referencing?
I love, like, I mean, I still love like classic rock stuff. I love the Eagles. I love Springsteen. I love Jackson Brown, and I always love that stuff. And I listened to Alex music growing up. I listened to, like, you know, that whole Philly scene, and not that you're not going to listen to my record and be like, wow, this just sounds like a go around song. But the songwriting and like my first record we made, we had 2 days, and we just got a bunch of Nashville players. I had some songs that I liked, and we did like an acoustic driven country-ish thing, because that's what we had time for, and it was great. And I'm always be proud of it. That's all cool. But this one, we took our time and actually got Tom Petty sounds on certain things. We took the time to get the drum sounds we wanted. We actually had a rock drummer play, like a drummer that plays like I used to play when I was a terrible drummer, but he's really good. So like, it's more straight ahead. It's more, yeah, it kind of sounds like how I picture my music to be kind of framed. So I'm excited for people to hear it. It'll be out kind of all next year. We're going to be putting it out over the course of the year. So
Yeah, if I could interject for a second.
yeah, do it.
Yeah, it is definitely Vinny's best work. I mean, it's awesome, and I think you can see, like, I think another part of like what he meant when he was saying the record he would have made when he was 16 is like he's got like a very clear vision, and it was really fun to watch him in the studio, knowing what he wanted and asking for it, and and like really making it happen. Because the previous records were always a lot of fun, and everybody involved was very involved. But that was kind of a big thing. It was like, let's bring in some session guys and let's trust them to do their thing, which is always a great strategy because the Nashville session guys are top tier, But this time, rather than putting it in the hands of the session guys completely, it was like there was a lot of direction, a lot more confidence this time, and it's really cool to see.
Thanks, dog.
Yeah.
Oh,
After getting through that first like big record, you're like, okay, I know what I want now, and you can really direct traffic in that way.
Totally.
Did you guys do the first record together?
To an
Pieces
extent.
of it. Yeah. I mean, he was there for everything.
Okay.
I ended up sort of accidentally engineering it. Yeah.
Well, we did. There was a lot of cooks in the first record kitchen, mainly because I'd never really done anything like that before. But Alex wired the whole studio and mic'd everything, and then for all the background vocal sessions, Alex was engineering everything, mixing everything. So we
recorded some guitar solos at my house.
Guitar, dude. Yeah,
nice.
But yeah,
that's how records are done now anyway. It's kind of piecemeal sometimes. You just kind of do a little bit here, a little
when you
bit there.
can't afford to rent, a studio for 3 weeks, you just got to do it when you can. And there's speaking of Nashville community, like Jeffrey's studio and other studio we used for. But I mean, we had some $1 million studios that people like let us go in at night, or hey, like nobody's using the thing today, you can come do this for free. And so a lot of that stuff helped. I mean, Alex did, I don't even know how much stuff. The hours worth of things for free. So it just and he got paid handsomely too for some of it. But I'm saying he went over and beyond.
What microphone did you give him?
I don't even remember. Yeah.
Here's a 57. Thank you. You walk away.
Hey, you can always use another 57. I wouldn't complain about that.
That's true.
But I love that so much. So it's more country influenced, but it's not necessarily a country record. I get what you're saying.
Well, I don't know if you got to hear the song "Hummin'." Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
"Hummin'" that came out a few weeks ago.
I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's a perfect representation of like, it sort of has like the Jason Isbell swing to it, but it's sort of got the Coldplay ambience, and then it's sort of got like the modern presence. By presence, I mean like the high fidelity. So it's like. It's sort of a mix of the stuff that we grew up on and the stuff that's kind of current and some like classic Americana feel. It's not exactly
so broad now.
Yeah.
That, like people coming out of Nashville release their stuff under country music. Almost everyone releases under country because like we know the people at all the Spotify and Apple that like do country music. So if I guess I could release it under rock or America or something else, but it's just easier to get to the most people to release it under a country tab.
I mean, I'm not saying this in a judgmental way of Nashville. I don't care how people label things, but I think Nashville is sort of responsible for the watering down of the meaning of country, because it's like everybody here, like I mean it's a thing that I had happen to me a bunch of times when I came here, is it's like I would play shows and I would talk to people who'd be like, I really like your stuff, but like I'm in country, so I don't know what to do with it. And it was kind of like this funny thing where like unless you identified as country, it was harder to get shows, and it's harder to get playlisted, and it's harder to get to get meetings. And it's like, so like people who like have acoustic guitars would just be like, I'm country.
Oh,
and it's
wow.
just like, so it's just like, it's like, it's really funny.
So you automatically have to become like under your genre. You automatically add country no matter what you are.
You just say you don't even have to. You don't have to change your sound to be more country. You just say you're country.
That's what I'm saying.
And everyone will just take it at face value. And it's just it just helps you get your foot in the door for some reason. Yeah. I mean, I'm still not doing that because I'm too far away from country to fake it.
Yeah.
But Vinny's got enough of a twang and a folk thing going on that. Even though I would not call you country,
don't call me country.
Even though I wouldn't call you country, it makes sense that you would.
I grew up on Southern rock stuff. Like I loved the Allman Brothers and Leonard Skinner and all that stuff growing up. And I would classify my music as like singer-songwriter, or I don't know what Americana means, honestly. People say that. it's everything from bluegrass to like Jason Isbell is Americana. So I don't understand what that means, but maybe it's in that category. But it's just easier to, be in that universe, or at least, take up a space in that universe than it is to be like, I'm a rock artist in Nashville, because there's less people doing that.
And every artist that, we grew up on is making country now. I mean, there are country rappers. Colby Calais put out a country record. Beyonce put out a country record.
Yeah.
Post Malone put out a country record. So like everybody's like all of a sudden a country artist. So it's like the definition of country is so convoluted at this point. It doesn't really matter. And I mean, some people say that and get all upset about it. I'm not being pretentious about it. I don't care. You can call it what you want.
No, you're just calling a spade and what's happening in the industry. That's 100% true.
And it is really funny to see, though, because as somebody who grew up listening to a lot of like metal, I remember you might remember this too, but like, in the early 2000s, like you would call a band like metal. They'd be like, that's not metal, that's math prog. They're like, or like, that's not metal, that's like whatever. It's just like all these like heavy bands that are yelling and screaming, and the guitars are they're like, but people are like so mad about whatever you decide to call it.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, it'd be so, I don't know.
The only thing I'll say about it that I think that more people need to like know is like, this all happened, like I've been here 7 years, you've been here, whatever, 6.5 or however long it took.
I came like almost exactly a year behind you.
But no one's winning. No one's winning.
But I forced him
constantly a year ahead of me.
I forced him to move. But like when we first got here, like you got to remember, like Luke Bryan, like all that very like, I'm a Georgia boy and it's Georgia and everything. But I'm saying that was the thing. Like if you weren't making like bro country, they call it, or Florida Georgia Line was the biggest thing. I saw them at CMA Fest. I was there to see Stapleton, and everyone knew every song. The Backstreet Boys did a collab with Florida Georgia Line. Like it was the thing. And now none of that is popular, really. So what they tell you in Nashville when you first get here, what a couple songwriters told me, which I appreciated, was whatever you do it really, really, really well, and just wait, because eventually what you're doing is gonna be the thing. It's going to be cool. It's going to be in style. So it goes in these like 15-year cycles. In the 90s, there was this huge harken back to all the 60s and 70s country stuff. Was all of a sudden the 90s guys were just ripping that off 1,000,000%.
I remember that, yeah.
And then bro country guys, all their guitar players are the 80s metal guitar players that moved to Nashville from LA, because they could, if you listen to all the guitar solos, it's literally like a metal zone into a PV amp, like every single one.
Did you see the whole Bad Monkey thing?
I don't know.
Do you know what I'm talking about, Rob? The Bad Monkey Overdrive. Yeah, it's like a cheap pedal. It's a $20 pedal that's like supposed to be just a cheap clone of the TS9 or whatever, and
it became the thing.
And one guy on YouTube said it sounded just as good, and all of a sudden they became worth hundreds of dollars. Just because they don't make them anymore. So if you can get your hands on one, this $20 pedal was worth.
Yeah. I'm not saying any of that to be like a jerk or anything. I'm just saying, whatever you're doing is gonna be cool again eventually. So you just gotta like not move home. That's what
speaking of,
told me to do.
I mean, I know we're not in the world of country anymore in this part of the conversation, but I've actually been stoked, because as a dude who grew up on like boy bands and stuff,
you're in heaven right now.
Dude. So what's so funny is like, so I've been like, I just watched the documentary, the Larger Than Life, The Reign of Boy Bands, and it was kind of awesome.
Are you the target audience?
I am exactly the target audience for that. But it's so funny because so I started looking up, like now that I've got like my studio and stuff, I'm like, I want to try and like produce something that way. I just finished reading the memoir of Darren Hayes. He was the singer of Savage Garden. And they're talking about like being in the studio and all this old gear, like recording pop in the 90s, And I really decided like I wanted to start trying to like make some 90s pop, but like rather than using, like samples and instrument libraries and stuff, I want to like use, I mean, it's still technically samples, but the actual like hardware they were using back then. And I was looking up like where a lot of these sounds came from and what these drum machines were that they were using. And a couple of the keyboards that were like at the top of the list, my dad had, and I actually called him like 3 days ago to be like, hey, do you still have, this and that? And he's like, yeah. and I'm coming home for Christmas, and I'm bringing them all back with me.
Shut up. So really, this show is really just an excuse to go get all the gear.
Yeah, so I'm like, no, so I'm like, but like, I'm stoked to like try and do some like old school '90s productions, especially because I have like, some of the actual gear from back then.
Yeah,
which is really cool,
That's wild.
including my console is a 1989, so it's the same type of console that was used on a ton of records in the '90s. So it's
So what you're saying, this is the beginning of a new boy band era for you. You're about to create like a country boy band.
I just enjoyed that era of pop. It's not all. I'm by myself. I'm not a boy band.
Are you all the boys?
I
it's
am
gonna be
all
a
the
new
boys.
YouTube channel.
Yeah, no, but well, I mean, but like like Savage Garden, like even though they sounded comparable to like a boy band, they were a real band.
Real band,
and
100%.
and BB Max, stuff like that.
I don't know who these people are.
You would if you heard the songs. They were huge. Yeah.
Mhm.
But I'm like kind of excited for this resurgence, especially because, to be honest, I've low key felt a little bit left out in this sort of country boom we've been in, because I just can't relate to it.
Yeah.
I can from a distance, in the sense that I know that so many of my friends are a part of it, Vinny included. So it's like it's exciting to like watch it for them and to be a part of it in sort of a behind the scenes sort of way. But I'm excited that there's sort of a resurgence of things that I feel like I can be a part of now.
Yeah, right now, I'll tell you, up here, you can definitely feel the country wave up here. Everything has that twang in it now. And I had a gentleman on the podcast last week, Chris Rafter, who's been putting out music and doing a great job. And he's like, look, I got thrown under the umbrella of country. I have country influence, but I am not a country artist. He was like really fighting it throughout the whole interview. and I was like, okay, I get it. But unfortunately up here, Americana and country are like accepted, but not necessarily the thing. It's a lot of rock, and it's a lot of like singer-songwriters all by themselves.
Yeah.
But like there is a folk community with like the Philly Folk Fest and things like that. But I find that people that do that type of music here are just here because like it's a good home base, and then they tour.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. No, honestly, that's sort of why I think, all these labels and studios have left LA and New York and come to Nashville, because like it's kind of the same thing. Like a lot of bands that especially people who have enough money to have more than one residence. A lot of people are just based in Nashville because it's so central. I mean, you can record here, you can write here, you can rehearse here. All of the equipment rentals are all here, like the huge facilities where you can get almost anything you need within an hour if you need to. And then you can drive to almost anywhere in the country. It's like the closest. It's like the closest point to everywhere in the country. It's a very central hub. Like I've got friends who live in Minneapolis but are in touring bands that are based out of that. I mean, even the band that I tour with, a band as a tech, and even the band that we tour with is like there's our sound guys in Indiana, and people are from guitar players from Boston, but they all come here, and this is where we're based. This is where the tour bus leaves from. This is so it's just.
It seems to be the case for most folks.
Yeah,
but
so it's a good thing to just be based here, which I feel like is what you're saying is the case in Philly right now. Just to bring it back to what you were saying, even though Philly's not central in the same way, it is. I mean, in my experience, it's a great place because you're so close to Baltimore, you're so close to New York, you're so close to DC. There's all these gigs that you can get in these like metropolitan hubs when you're based in Philly. And
100%.
Including ocean beach gigs,
Yeah, you're right in the middle of that 95, just riding 95 up and down. So this is a great touring city, but not necessarily like a hub of any. Well, I shouldn't say that, but it's not a Nashville. And you guys know that. That's why you moved. But so is Vinny, the next record, is it called Spaghetti Western? I saw it on the singles. Okay.
Yeah. It'll be volume 1, 2, and 3, and possibly 4. We'll see. I just had another studio day a couple weeks ago, and
wait, how many tunes are in the can right now?
About 15.
Woo!
So
Woo!
Yeah, this was it was funny. This is like the busiest year I've had ever. We had a baby this year too, and I've done.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Him and his wife, Donna.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was you guys. You adopted a baby.
That's very good.
But it's funny because none of the things I did this year are like, because everything is a year behind at least. So I had a bunch of songs come out this year that I wrote like a year or even 2 years ago. So to me, that's like way old news. But as far as like the world goes, that's like brand new. Next year will be a lot of Vinnie songs coming out, which I'm excited about. Yeah, it's like it's the hardest thing in the world, but also like the best thing in the world. So you just gotta kind of take it as a.
No, I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Putting out
And
this
like
record,
I said,
yeah.
it's his best work, so it's gonna be a
Thanks.
good year. I'm excited for.
Thanks,
I'm
bro.
excited for you. See what happens.
Thank you.
That's exciting. Man.
Yeah.
All right, so December 27th, 118
Yes.
North. What time does that show start?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. Going to be doing a trio. Mr. Anthony is joining us on the keys. That's exciting. You'll have your 90s keyboards in tow.
For
show.
Yeah.
You should have them.
Just give it to
Just all the cheesy trumpet sounds and
yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe can Anthony have like the surround synthesizer
Yes.
thing, like that
Now
was
we're
popular in the
talking.
80s?
Well, that's what I'm trying to put together in my studio. I actually got to meet the guy who built that giant circular keyboard that Lady Gaga uses.
Really?
Because he built it, custom. Every key had to be filed down by hand to be
Why didn't you think of that?
to be V-shaped so they could put it in a circle. It was kind of wild. Anyway, sorry.
That's no.
So they had to cut the whole thing. So is there like I don't know this keyboard very well. Is there like a starting point for the lowest note? It's literally next to the highest note.
I think it's different banks of different sounds
Oh.
across every set of whatever it is, 60 or 70 keys. Yeah, but I'm not sure. I mean, obviously I haven't played it. Just thought that was neat. But
You can go buy your own right there in the show notes. But anyway, or you can buy one for us because clearly we need one.
yeah.
But I'm so happy for you guys. And everyone go check out Vinny's music and go check out The Go Around, which will also be listed in the show notes. And thank you guys for hopping on. Let's take a spin.
Hey man, thanks for having
Thanks
us. It's
so much.
always great to see you, Rob.
It's always amazing
Yeah.
to see you guys. And I'm going to be working that night, so I can't come. But you guys will have a great show.
So, well, maybe we'll see you while we're home. Though I would love to see you if we can. So,
Well, that would be amazing.
yeah.
And we should work together. No, I don't jam.
See you, man.
See you.
Let's take a spin.